them the depth of empathy necessary to understand the economic suffering as well as the mental toll that Donald Trump is taking on the American people. Do you feel my pain? That's a question I kept asking as I listened to the candidates. Do you care? Question mark. Do you understand suffering? Question mark. Have you ever experienced suffering? Will you share any of your own so that I may better understand that you understand what I'm going through? What are you doing when there are no cameras present? Question mark. Secondly, what I did not hear was a candidate who had the power to restore the people's faith in the Constitution. I'm deeply concerned about that. Thirdly, Donald Trump and Elon Musk have fired more than 300,000 African American women. I did not hear a day one solution for this problem or a commitment to rehire them. They too are suffering and deserve better from a caring political party. And lastly, from my perspective, the field is wide open for a dark horse candidate who is able to connect with the American people, a candidate like John or a candidate like the late entry of Robert F. Kennedy and the images that emerged around black and white poverty for working class people. I know that Reverend Bishop William Barber will appreciate that. Johnson could not end, for whatever reason, the war in Vietnam. Similarly, no one raised an interest in ending the war in Iran or the restoration of Palestinian self-determination in the Gaza Strip. I felt like there was a wink and a nod to the continuation of the madness. I still believe in a two-state solution, and the conflict is not going anywhere. Without this conflict coming to an end, the Democratic Party's nominating convention could very well be as tumultuous as 1968. If there are going to be American troops on the ground in the Middle East, they need to be in there guaranteeing the two-state solution for both sides. If necessary, standing between the Palestinian state and the Israel government, the state of Israel. America should be earning the trust of both sides to guarantee their security. It sure would be a hell of a lot cheaper. Not a single candidate tied questions of affordability to the Strait of Hormuz and the necessary chemicals that come from the Strait of Hormuz that are responsible for fertilizer. The absence of fertilizer is impacting the planting season here in the United States and will likely lead to global famine around the world. The subject matter did not come up. Its impact on the cost of food and the thousands of products that have petroleum as its base. Personally, I'd like to see someone draft executive orders, literally hundreds of them, reversing everything on day one that Donald Trump has done. He or she is going to have to root out corruption and literally fire everyone Donald Trump hired under his litmus test for acquiescence and personal service for his psychological whims, needs, racial, and gender biases. The Democratic Party message was as varied as the messengers. Hence, no message and no common rallying theme at all. I don't think being against Trump is enough. We have to be for something. In the Democratic primary process, we will likely be voting for and on our favorite personalities, not the leader of men and women. And that is what the country needs. Voting on personalities. Donald Trump won in large measure because he was the apprentice. We voted on his personality. And he's a nasty manager of the Constitution and the American people. The Democratic Party has a voter registration problem, and I had to imagine which candidate could inspire people to massive voter registration and participation, and I didn't see it. In my opinion, that speaks to the tone of deafness. With hindsight, each of these candidates struck me as being worthy of a cabinet position, but not necessarily the Oval. We need a force of personality, a force of nature to restore hope. And like I said, as I prepare to close, this field is wide open for a dark horse who understands, cares, and makes regular visits to sick people in the hospitals, prays with sick and their families, and commits to see the expansion of the Affordable Care Act, relief for caregivers, as a high priority, not from a political perspective, but from a human one. It is wide open to a candidate who understands, according to Martin Luther King Jr., that my own government is the greatest purveyor of violence in the world, and that we can no longer turn a blind eye that programs that are necessary for human uplift here in the United States are unavailable because of our greed for natural resources and lust for violence dominates our consciousness. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Pakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Deshauna Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Can we just talk?
You've heard me say it before, how we talk to one another matters. Earlier this year, we launched our first cohort, and I'm grateful to those who leaned in early and helped to shape the work. Now I'm inviting you to join me for a new live seminar, The Practice of Dialogue, Becoming a More Effective Communicator. This is a small group experience designed to help you strengthen how you communicate in your work, your relationships, and your everyday life. Space is limited to keep the experience personal and interactive. So if you're ready to take your communication to the next level, now is the time to focus on the skills that make conversations meaningful. The new 4-week cohort begins Monday, May 4th, and there's a nice discount for early bird registrants. Visit TavishTalks.com to learn more and reserve your place today. That's TavishTalks.com, because better conversations don't just happen, we practice them.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome to Season 2. We're lighting it up today on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, we've been talking across this country a lot about affordability. And I've been fascinated and tickled to death by an amazing song that has been making its rounds on social media. And one of Tavis's great friends and one of my friends as well, Arnez J, has this Uncle Charlie dance that I see him do. And I've been trying to do this dance, but a number of people are picking it up far quicker than I can get it. My producer, and for those of you who are not watching, I hope you turn and watch it on the Facebook page or on YouTube. Drop that song from Finesse 2 Times and that dance right here, G.
8 noodles, no packet. Cereal with the canned murk, the powder murk, no murk. Waffles, no syrup. Jelly, no jelly, nothing. Oatmeal, no sugar. Oatmeal, no sugar, nothing. I ate cereal with the canned murk, the powder murk, no murk. Ate cereal with the canned murk, the powder murk, no murk.
So I was watching Arnez J's dance from his Uncle Charlie, and I put it up alongside of trying to find out who sang No Merc. And the gentleman's name is Finesse 2 Times. I'm trying to find Finesse 2 Times to bring him on the show. But I want to make the listeners aware that I've done everything I can from this interview that he apparently did, where he explains where he got the No Merc sign from. And before I play that, I want to be clear that at the heart of this comedic answer, which is obviously serious for Finesse 2 Times, is the question of affordability. The question of affordability. Now, I've made sure that we've done everything we can to remove certain languages by beeping it on the program. But I'd like to hear how Finesse 2 Times came up with No Merc.
And listen, I know if I go to Kroger's, if I go to the high grocery store, I ain't gonna be able to get that much groceries. I ain't gonna be able to get that much groceries if I go to the high grocery store. So I went to Family Dollars. Right? That's what you do when you broke. That's what you do when you got nothing but $700, $800. You go to family. So that's what I thought. But the jailhouse raised me, so I'm thinking I'm doing something. Y'all, I went to Family Dollars. I went and got the off-brand nutty bars, the off-brand oatmeal cakes, the off-brand Salisbury steaks, the off-brand oatmeal. I went and got everything off-brand because I thought I was putting some food in the refrigerator. Don't y'all know I took $360-some worth of food over her house, and she told me, my son, don't eat this shit. This fake ass food. Bruh, do y'all understand how this shit still ain't registering to me today? It's still not registering to me. I ate syrup sandwiches, bitch. I ate noodles with no packet. Cereal with the canned milk. The powder milk. No milk. Waffles, no syrup. Jelly. No jelly, nothing. Oatmeal, no sugar. And you complaining about these Salisbury steaks? And all you gotta do is put some seasoning salt on the motherfuckers. Put some seasoning salt and some black peppers on the motherfuckers. And some onions. And then bounce back. And you make them a sandwich. And you talking about fake nutty bars.
Well, now that is the dilemma that we are going through out here on this question of affordability. Some of us are deciding not to shop at Kroger's. We shopping at Family Dollar. And what Finesse 2 Times, who's done some time, said was while he did his time, what you complaining about? You want me to shop at Kroger's? While I was in the joint, I ate noodles with no packet. I had oatmeal, no sugar. I had something with no milk and cereal with no milk. Milk means milk, by the way. That's the way Finesse 2 times dropped it on us. No milk. Powder milk. And so when we bring it all the way down to the street, this question of affordability is real because our people are struggling and they're making the sacrifice by not shopping for name brand items. My man decided rather than spend $700 or $800 at Kroger's, he was going to spend $360 at Family Dollar. That's where the song came from. That's what we dancing to. While we dancing, we ought to think about where no merc come from a brother who's telling you that when he was in prison, he ate syrup sandwiches, 2 pieces of bread and some syrup. No jelly, nothing. In every prison in the United States, there's someone named Cook. I don't even know. I was in 2 prisons. I don't even know the name of the guys whose name was Cook. You just called him Cook. Whenever you saw him, you called him Cook. So he was explaining to you that in the joint, he made a sacrifice because the circumstances created a sacrifice. And then his woman told him that she don't want no food with no labels that ain't on it. She don't want no food that comes from Family Dollar. She wants it from Kroger's. She wants it from Jewel's. She wants it from Whole Foods. And the brother's trying to tell you in this song, No Merc, that he's trying to stretch his dollar to make it more than a month. And he said, if you just add something to the Salisbury steak, little seasoned salt, some onions, and some black peppers, you can feed everybody. And she was arguing that she didn't want her family eating food from Family Dollar. Now, that is the dilemma that we find ourselves in. Now, with that said, let me now transition to my man Arnez J, who brought to us the little dance I'm trying to learn because we have to dance our way through our pain.
I ate noodles with no packet, cereal with the canned milk, the powder milk, no milk, waffles, no syrup, no jelly, nothing, oatmeal, no sugar, nothing. I ate cereal with the canned milk, the powder milk, no milk. Ate cereal with the canned milk, the powder milk, no milk.
So, like Uncle Charlie, we must learn in this hour to do with less. As past generations did, we may do with scraps of the master's table. There was a time when chitlins was free, and they are no longer free. A lot of folk didn't like sweet potatoes. A lot of folks didn't like ham, but our families made it work with no milk. And that's what we're talking about here on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. And we found joy in that process. And so our joy still abounds. We can make it in spite of it all. I wanted to break down what Finesse 2 times was talking about. So when you see that flashing across your screen about no milk, he's talking about no milk. And the powder pack is powdered milk. And ate cereal with no milk in the cereal. And you complaining about why the Fruit Loop box that he brings from Family Dollar doesn't have the Fruit Loops on the cover, but it's the same Fruit Loops that exist in the grocery store where it's cheaper. And so my man Finesse 2 times came out to joint and realized that he had to extend his dollar beyond the month. And that's what we have to do in this hour. Gratitude ultimately must be our attitude. Gratitude must be our attitude. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Let me tell y'all something else. My grandmama used to take a peach, and our grandparents did, and it's not enough, particularly in South Carolina, particularly if you're driving down 85, you might see a big old peach on a water tower, if you know what I'm talking about and you're listening to me today, because South Carolina is known as a peach state. She took a peach and she turned it into a cobbler. She took collard greens, which under any other circumstances is nothing but a dandelion. Well, my grandmama got finished with a collard green by putting that ham hock in it, or that turkey neck bone, or that leg in it. That collard green became something else. It's kind of magic. And, while Donald Trump, as clearly being the only general guiding his own war, the consequences of the cost of food for all of us is about to go up. And so don't put more food on your table than you can eat. Don't throw nothing away. Talking about you don't eat stuff that you had yesterday. Don't throw nothing away, because coming out of the Strait Hormuz is not just gas. And I drove after my father's funeral, my mother, to Washington, D.C., and then I drove to Atlanta, Georgia, where we did the show. And then we were in Columbia, South Carolina, or Charlotte, North Carolina, where we did the show. And then we did the show out of Raleigh, North Carolina for 2 days. And then to New York, where we did the show for Reverend Al Sharpton with some of our guests and our coverage of that conference. And then drove all night yesterday to get back to Chicago in time for our show. I'm sitting here saying to myself, every time we went past a gas station, we were looking for gas around $3.90 or $3.70. All along the highway, gas, $4.99, $5.17. Still cheaper than a first class airplane ticket, a coach airplane ticket, or a last class airplane ticket. Because of where I've been in my life, I understand no Merc. And my man Finesse 2 Times was making nothing but sense. Gas prices has an effect on your food prices, because from petroleum comes fertilizer. From petroleum comes hair grease. From petroleum comes eyelashes. From petroleum comes hair that you weave into your head. From petroleum comes products, everyday products that we use as Americans. From petroleum comes Crisco grease. From petroleum comes frying chicken, frying fish. From petroleum. How do you think fish is fried without petroleum? It's fried with petroleum. I'm just trying to tell you something. We got to make a way out of no way as a people. And now is our time. You see, as a people, we are survivors. And that's really the story. That's what Finesse 2 Times, from my perspective, was trying to say. We are survivors as a people. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, my good friend Shelly Davis, we're going to talk about Black organizations, the significance of what Reverend Sharpton was able to do in New York, and whether or not our organizations are ready for the midterms. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A funeral was held Monday morning for Black St. Louis police officer Gregory Triplett. He died after suffering a medical emergency during a training exercise on April 1st.
Officer Triplett's legacy isn't just the years he put in. It's the people he helped shape, the officers he mentored.
Triplett was 58 years old and served the department for 32 years. Maryland's newly signed budget includes more than $50 million in state funding for Washington County. The spending plan signed by Black Governor Wes Moore includes money for upgrades at Roxbury Correctional Institution, Hancock's wastewater treatment plant, and design work for a new vehicle maintenance shop and air traffic control tower. And a national event spotlighting Black-owned businesses made a stop in Memphis, Tennessee this weekend. Shop Blackfest featured 90 vendors selling everything from food to clothing, along with live music. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The odds makers in Vegas are already showing a lack of confidence in the Lakers. The Lakers are 5.5-point underdogs at home to the Houston Rockets in Game 1 of their first-round playoff series in the Western Conference. Game 1 in the best of 7 is Saturday at 5:30 at Crypto.com. Kawhi Leonard is hoping to do something he hasn't done in 5 years with the Clippers. Leonard has not won a playoff series since 2021. The Clippers have to win 2 games in the play-in round to get there. They play Golden State Wednesday at the Intuit Dome. The NBA may have a competition issue to deal with. 8 of the league's 30 teams ended the regular season with 55 or more losses. That's the highest number in league history. The 8 teams: Brooklyn, Indiana, Washington, New Orleans, Dallas, Memphis, and Utah. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Whoa, whoa.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580. Your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
When temperatures climb, LADWP wants to help you stay cool indoors, starting in your attic. With quality attic insulation, your home can stay more comfortable during hot summer days and help lower your energy bills year-round. It's a smart way to save. And for a limited time, LADWP has increased the attic insulation rebates to make upgrading more affordable. Act now to start saving. Visit LADWP.com/attic. That's LADWP.com/attic.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
From station to stage, LA Metro connects you to the artistic heart of Los Angeles. Celebrate this National Arts Month with Metro, exploring galleries, theaters, and cultural spaces across the city. Art isn't just where you end up, it's how you get there.
The joint will be jumping. Ebony Repertory Theater, in association with Big Street Films, brings you one of the most beloved musicals of all time. Tony Award winner, Ain't Misbehavin'. The soulful, swinging celebration of the music of Fats Waller. From the rollicking to the romantic, this show is pure magic, full of the songs that defined an era and the voices that'll make you forget everything else for a night. Foot stomping, heart stirring, unforgettable. Don't miss Ain't Misbehavin' at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, starring Lettucey, directed by Ren T. Brown. This is the night out you've been waiting for. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Grab yours now at ebonyrep.org or call the box office today at 323-964-9766. Ebony Repertory Theater, bringing the culture, keeping the legacy alive.
Ain't Misbehavin' runs May 21st through June 8th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now.
Paid for by government. The 1986 to 2021 United States Silver Eagle, the first ever U.S. silver dollar minted in 99.9% pure silver and is the best-selling coin in the world. These original and historic silver dollars have ceased production forever. They will never be minted again. For a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government-struck silver dollars are being released to the public. You can own a full pound of original U.S. silver dollar coins featuring Lady Liberty and the heraldic eagle, never to be struck again. Guarantee. Call now to secure original United States Silver Eagles by the pound. The first U.S. silver dollars ever to be struck in 99.9% pure silver. Plus, receive a free bonus, an American Collector's Pack valued at over $40 and free shipping with every order. Call 1-800-560-6468 now to secure your full pound bag of United States Silver Eagle coins before they are gone. That's 1-800-560-6468.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
Welcome to the J Lunch Club. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580. It is Moving Mountain Mondays, and I want to use this segment to talk about what I opined on in the first segment, and that was what I did not hear at the National Action Network conference. And that is a candidate who had the power to restore the people's faith in the Constitution. I'm deeply concerned about that, is what I said. Why am I deeply concerned about it? Because as African Americans, we have not given ourselves the credit that we deserve for having made this nation democratic. This nation was not democratic on July 4th, 1776. In fact, there was no Constitution on that date. The Constitution did not come into existence until September 17th, 1787. But we were here. That's what Martin Luther King Jr. said before Jefferson etched the magnificent words of the Declaration of Independence. We were here. That's what Malcolm X said when he said that we did not land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. We were here in 1619. Plymouth Rock was 1620. The Constitution of the United States is the guiding document of our republic, not the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence is an aspirational document. And before the states would agree to the Constitution of the United States, written on September 17th, 1787, it was unacceptable even for white folks until the Bill of Rights in 1791. They had been through a lot with the king. So they wanted freedom of speech. freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of association. These freedoms did not exist for the American people on the day the Constitution itself was written. They demanded explicit language in the Constitution to remedy that which the king had denied them, and they were not interested in a new king here in the United States. So before the Constitution could be in effect in many of the states and territories, they demanded the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. Some would even argue that to secure these rights, they added the Second Amendment, the right to a gun, the right to a militia, should anyone try to take away the rights that we've secured in this Bill of Rights. That's just how concerned they were about the new government established by the architects, which has been romanticized greatly until placed in its proper context. But then the country was still not democratic because only white men could vote. And there were slaves. And there was no process to citizenship for people who would come into the country. And there was a genocide taking place for Native Americans, which became some kind of romantic manifest destiny that we have the right to build our country from one ocean to the other, while ignoring the indigenous people who were here for thousands of years before the Mayflower. I say this because the Negro was responsible for at least 3 amendments to the Constitution of the United States. Whether we were directly engaged in it in terms of its writing is one thing, but another is our lives and our struggle and the fact that a war took place where 600,000 people lost their lives in a civil war. And to keep this republic, to keep this nation together, it required Amendment number 13, followed by Amendment number 14 and number 15. Jim Clyburn said just 2 days ago that MAGA Republicans have approached him, and I believe it's in the Atlantic Star, the Black Atlantic Star, approached him about their willingness to start slavery all over again. But they can't, as long as the 13th Amendment is in the Constitution. The debates about immigrants, the debates about should you have to show your passport at a voting location because of the SAFE Act that Donald Trump is advancing. The idea of citizenship, the idea of a passport comes from the 14th Amendment and the incorporation of the Negro into this system. We are responsible for that. The debate is still taking place. Trump arrogantly attended a Supreme Court hearing, a Supreme Court argument over the question of citizenship rights. The first modern president who showed up at the court to look the judges in the face that he appointed, arguing from his Solicitor General that the 14th Amendment does not apply to anyone but slaves and descendants thereof, justifying his right to deport people who come to the United States of America. The 15th Amendment, non-discrimination in voting for Black men. The right to vote in the Constitution for Black men was assured by the 15th Amendment, obviously, to the exclusion of women. And the same women who were fighting for the abolition of slavery, with the addition of the 13th and 15th Amendments, limited language, started their own movement for women's suffrage. The first 3 human rights amendments to the Constitution were added by the struggle of Black people and the Union Army and those who wanted to see the nation flourish and thrive. But the 19th Amendment is a reaction to the fact that we were even narrow-sided when we advanced the 15th Amendment by excluding women. Black men and women have been trying to catch up in this system democratically ever since we amended the Constitution. And then, of course, there's that, I believe, 26th Amendment, since I'm not looking at the Constitution at this moment, that said if we can send 18-year-old young people to Vietnam to vote, to fight and to die, they ought to have the right to vote. And now we're still discussing whether or not they have such a fundamental right. That's where we are in our politics. More on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
We're at Doolin's on Crenshaw. It's a special place where the neighborhood comes together. Got the fried chicken, the catfish, the candied yams, the mac and cheese. It's all delicious. I'm Isaac Bryan. I represent the Crenshaw District in the California State Legislature, and I'm supporting Tom Steyer for governor of California. California is under attack, and we need a fighter who's going to come in on day one and stand up for California values and push back. That person is Tom Steyer. Tom and I have been fighting together for the better part of a decade. Tom is the only candidate supported by smart justice because Tom has stood on the front lines of racial justice, economic justice, and true solidarity. Tom is the real deal. He's the only candidate in the race with a comprehensive plan to make the billionaires and the corporations pay their fair share so we can fund things like universal health care and education. He means what he says, and he does what we need. This is a moment when we've got to fight fire with fire, and I believe that fire is Tom Steyer.
Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Can we just talk?
You've heard me say it before, how we talk to one another matters. Earlier this year, we launched our first cohort, and I'm grateful to those who leaned in early and helped to shape the work. Now I'm inviting you to join me for a new live seminar, The Practice of Dialogue, Becoming a More Effective Communicator. This is a small group experience designed to help you strengthen how you communicate in your work, your relationships, and your everyday life. Space is limited to keep the experience personal and interactive. So if you're ready to take your communication to the next level, now is the time to focus on the skills that make conversations meaningful. The new 4-week cohort begins Monday, May 4th, and there's a nice discount for early bird registrants. Visit TavishTalks.com to learn more and reserve your place today. That's TavishTalks.com, because better conversations don't just happen, we practice them.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Moving Mountain Mondays. And in our final segment, I just want to have a moment of reflection on the 1959, 1960, 61 presidential campaign and all of the rumors that were circulating around the idea that America might elect its first Catholic president, Senator John F. Kennedy. Protestants in the United States were concerned that if a Kennedy, particularly John F. Kennedy, were elected president, that he might show a greater allegiance to the pontiff in Rome than to the American people. Well, history has shown and confirmed that when John F. Kennedy put his hand on the Bible, he swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States. He did not swear to uphold Catholicism or any of his personal religious beliefs, as none of us do when we place our hand on the Constitution and accept the responsibility of fidelity to it and public service. In other words, we put our religions aside to protect all religions in the First Amendment: Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, Christianity. Before the Oval Office, all religions, non-religions, and those of us who do not believe in anything have a right in this nation to have the same protections for what we believe in, including nothing. America's open just like that. In our freedom system, we have a right, no matter who the president of the United States is, to be exactly who we are, without any worries or concerns about proselytization of the President of the United States. John F. Kennedy and his brother, Robert, the Attorney General of the United States, swore a fidelity to our rights to believe what we want to believe. As I've done 7, 8, maybe 9 times as a former member of Congress. I swore to uphold the Constitution, not to uphold the Bible or the Torah or the Quran, because we live under a civil code. And personally, we try to reach the standards of an acceptable moral code. But the civil code is the Constitution of the United States. Now, I am ashamed to say that the President of the United States is in a feud with the Pope, a world-respected religious figure who represents half of all Christians in the planet as the vicar of his church. And even though I'm part of a Protestant denomination, largely influenced by Martin Luther's having posted, I think in the 1560s or 1600s, 95 theses against the Catholic Church and corruptions within the Catholic Church, beginning a what? A protest movement against Catholicism, Protestant protest movement, which led to Protestantism, protest, a protest form of Christianity, that we as a nation would have a leader post a picture of himself healing somebody in some kind of divine garb with a backdrop that has U.S. air fighters and planes and Donald Trump essentially, as Paula White profoundly and prayerfully suggested, that Donald Trump has gone through the same thing that Jesus has gone through. I'm struck by that as an American, that evangelicals have gone so far as to anoint Donald Trump in the lineage of David as some kind of successor to Jesus of Nazareth. And in this moment, I have to ask myself the question, what of the poor? What has he done for the poor? What housing initiative has he advanced for men and women who have no homes? We know that he used the National Guard to clean them off of the streets of Washington, D.C., but where are they? Where did they go? Where did he send them? And removing the so-called eyesore is not a solution to the problem of ending homelessness for all Americans. Excited to learn that Viktor Orban has lost his election. Someone that Donald Trump, as an autocrat and authoritarian, has modeled himself after. What that means is that we, the people, have the power in the vote, won largely by the sacrifice of men and women who were told they were not human and did not have citizenship rights, who earned their citizenship rights the old-fashioned way. They didn't come by way of Ellis Island. They came here making America better. Pope Leo deserves better from our representative in Washington. Catholics all over the world should be outraged at this hour for what he has said and what he's doing. Let's uphold the blood-stained banner of Jesus of Nazareth and fight for what is right. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Until tomorrow, more on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa